All right, so we're back. And are you ready for this?
I guess.
Ready as we'll ever be.
I don't know how this will go.
Listen, I've already prefaced everybody in this room by saying if this goes awry, this is going to be abort mission.
We're pulling the plug.
We're pulling the plug.
We're about to make y'all viral.
Ready?
Oh, my gosh. So, I can't even believe we're doing this. This was my idea. I'll say this.
It was.
This was my idea. We found out that SmackDown was coming to Nashville, and the girls have always said they wanted to be on our
Stephanie
podcast.
especially.
Especially.
Right.
I'm personally offended that we haven't been on yet.
Yeah, he wouldn't let me come on.
So they always wanted to be on the podcast.
Exactly.
I wonder why
So,
he wouldn't let you come on.
We made this deal with them that, okay, you come to wrestling with us, then we'll be on the podcast and we'll talk about it. So, that being said, Erin, who is married to Jason.
Hello.
Meredith, who is not married to any of us.
I'm single, and I'll give y'all my phone number on this
Good
show.
Lord. Oh, my gosh. And Stephanie, who is married to me.
Yes. Yes, I am.
When she claims me.
Proudly claim you.
Thank you, dear. They're all on the podcast this week, and I don't know how this is going to go.
Who knows? Let's
This
just
is
get
going
to
to be
it.
your best episode ever.
You have no idea what you have signed up for.
Okay. So, before we ask questions, let's just, what do you guys have to say? Overall experience, your first, I know it wasn't Erin's first wrestling event. Erin's been before. Overall, your first live show, what'd you think?
I just want to defend myself about going before. So, several years ago, I was invited to Raw. And
Monday Night
I don't
Raw.
like that word.
Meredith apparently does not like the word Raw. So, Jason and I made a deal. He would go see Les Mis with me, and I would go to Raw with him. At what? I'm being told to speak louder. I'm just trying to have a nice, relaxing, pleasant podcast voice. At the musical, we all know Jason fell asleep and kicked a man in the head and got chewed out
Oh, that's that.
in the middle of I Dream a Dream.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
at the first wrestling event I attended, there was fire. And at this one, there was not. So I was pretty disappointed with that.
Pyro.
That's what
she's talking about.
Yeah, WWE decided to take that out of their budget, and they said, "Oh, we'll spend it on other things," and they took pyro out totally. There'll be some pyro at Mania this weekend.
There better be.
Because they always, they'll up their game for that. But for their regular weekly shows, no, they took pyro out. It's very disappointing. You're right.
Because the
I'm with you.
entrances would have been a lot better, a little more entertaining if there was some fireworks.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
Yeah. So,
And you got to see The Rock, did you not?
I saw The Rock.
And CM Punk.
I saw John Cena.
And
Oh,
Erin's
you
favorite,
got Cena.
Danny Bryan.
Right.
She said, "Hey, is
I don't
Danny
understand why
Bryan
that's funny.
married to one of those twins?" And I was like, "Who? Danny Bryan."
What is his name?
Daniel.
Is Danny not a nickname for Daniel? Why is that so
No.
weird? It's not like I called him Tom.
It was just cute. I said, "Bless your heart."
That's
So I
very
just learned what that
patronizing.
meant when she says it to me.
Bless it.
So, overall, I felt like I was at a cult experience. Everyone knew what to chant. We were not aware of I wish we would have been given like a book or a pamphlet with the words in it, because they were chanting something. We thought they were saying USA. What were they saying?
Rusev Day. Rusev Day.
Being patriotic. They were not.
But
And I didn't hear the national anthem either, and I'm very upset about that.
Number one, Rusev is from Bulgaria, so they wouldn't chant USA. That would make zero sense. That's like on WrestleMania 9. They were chanting USA during Bret Hart and Yokozuna's match. Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
Bobby Heenan says, "You got a Canadian and a guy from Japan. Why would you chant USA?" Makes no sense.
Well, Meredith and I were enjoying chanting USA. We felt excited to be Americans in that moment.
We copied everybody else.
Number 2,
And that, like,
to answer your patriotic question, Vince McMahon does not like the national anthem. He very much, he prefers American.
His wife's on Trump's cabinet. So
yes,
before
so
you say
yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah,
His wife is on Trump's cabinet. He prefers America the Beautiful. So anytime they do WrestleMania is coming, they will sing America the Beautiful before WrestleMania.
They should get Fergie to sing it.
It's some duo that I've never heard of.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. It doesn't matter. Okay. Meredith.
I just want to say that I feel like I was very negative. Overall, it was very entertaining.
Okay.
A lot of men in leggings. A lot of
leggings.
yeah. They had on sparkling leggings. Remember, Stephanie knows. A lot of men in speedos. A lot of onesies. And I was very entertained. I couldn't take my eyes away.
And she hands the mic to me.
Meredith.
My experience was, number one, I felt out of place because I didn't have my T-shirt on. And I was not about to send.
Wait.
Listen, if y'all knew how many of my guy friends sent me a message, you're at SmackDown. Oh my gosh, what are you doing there? I cannot believe you of all people. And I said, yeah, I'm here.
Tell them about our text.
I got cool points though. Oh yeah, so we had a group text going on with me, Erin, and Stephanie. And Erin said, "What are y'all wearing tonight?" And then she said, "I'm wearing a T-shirt." And then Stephanie sends a picture of her outfit, which was like this cute little denim jacket.
We didn't know what to wear.
Yeah.
I tried to get Stephanie to wear one of my wrestling shirts so she'd fit in, and she had none.
And the answer was no. A hard and fast no.
I'm just saying. I offered.
You could have had a little crop top. Walked up in there. Yeah. But my favorite part was, who's that guy I took that picture of up on the screen? I said, I'm okay with him. I didn't like seeing
Muhammad
the girls.
Ali?
No. Yes. Okay. So my granny used to I have memories from growing up and her sitting in her recliner. And she would be acting like she's punching the TV screen.
Okay,
Like she was in the arena.
Was she watching boxing or wrestling?
Well, she was watching Muhammad. I think it was like back in that day. The guy who bit the ear off.
That's my.
Okay. Well, okay, never mind. But
And Meredith, do you think that was wrestling or boxing?
Oh Lord!
whatever it was, I knew. All I knew was some man bit somebody's ear off, and then there was somebody's wrestling or hitting.
No.
It's all the same thing to me.
No,
you know.
Okay. One ring has 3 ropes and one has 4.
I don't pay attention to the rest.
Why would you know that?
Yeah.
One is
Who
fake and one
doesn't
is
know that?
real.
Well, all I know is that I was disappointed that man didn't show up last night. Tyson, is that his name?
Mike Tyson.
Is
yeah.
he named after chicken?
I'm so glad this is recorded
This is
right now.
awesome. This is awesome.
This is beautiful. This is great.
Okay. But no, I did like that they had the sequined little, what were those things called? Speedos? Yeah, I did not enjoy watching the girls up there.
Okay, who
Like-
had the sequin speedos?
The men.
Everybody's butt glittered.
And we didn't enjoy seeing the booties come out of them.
Yes.
I can't wait to watch next week and
Oh,
see
they're
that.
talking about Bobby Roode. That's what they're talking
Oh,
about. I'm
yeah.
sitting here seriously trying to figure out.
I
who
thought
you
they
guys
all
are
had
talking about.
sparkles in their.
Now, Bobby Roode.
Let me
had
just
the
say,
most.
during the girls' part, Meredith wasn't really as into it.
No.
And then she was complaining about how all the butt cheeks were hanging out. I personally liked the girl with the onesie and the cat ears, but everyone was booing her.
Natalia.
Natty. Yeah, she's from Canada.
So,
I was watching. Canada.
so all of a sudden, Meredith wasn't really that into it. All of a sudden, the men come out, and Meredith's glued in. She's like, she said, I like this. And I think y'all have made a lifelong WWE fan out of Meredith.
like.
I mean, I don't care if it's fake or not, and they got spray tans. We were trying to compare, I was like, okay, that guy had a spray tan that's he had a dark clear or a medium. I was trying to think of the tint of the spray tans on the guys.
And then you've got
The whole
you've got
time.
Randy. You've
We're
got
all a little different.
you've got Randy Orton who had all the tattoos.
Yes,
You-
the ones that had the tatted arms. That's the one. Yeah, who is that?
Randy Orton.
All right. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Okay.
But anyways, yes, and we had fun watching all the people around us get into it. One man had that belt he'd
That
raise
dude was
it.
annoying. I don't
Yeah.
know what he. I don't know what
He'd
his deal was.
raise
He kept
it up.
yelling turtle.
Turbo.
He would raise his belt and yell turtle.
Turtle.
What's
Oh
turtle?
my gosh. Well, he.
I don't
Turtle
know.
is? I don't have a
I've
clue.
no-
I don't know, but
idea.
I almost wanted to like raise up to him and be like, "What are you doing?" I don't understand, but yeah.
Okay. Stephanie, how was your experience?
It was an experience.
Okay.
And, okay. On the positive side, they were all in very good shape. I wish I was in as good of shape as all of them.
Even Rusev.
Like, everybody
Rusev
has a
slimmed
six
down.
pack.
As Chris noted.
Yes, I noted that Rusev slimmed down and he was in great shape.
Yeah, so they're all in really good shape, and that's pretty cool. I was very confused by the fact that there was nobody talking. Like, the only things you heard were the people chanting the things that we had no idea what we were supposed to be chanting.
That's one of the things that a lot of people get deterred from going to see wrestling live is there's no commentary.
Yeah, so like you don't know, like we didn't know what was going on because we're not into wrestling. So there were a lot of times where there was totally obviously something important happening and we just had no idea what it was because nobody was telling us what was going on. So that would be a point where I'm like, honestly, it would be better to watch it on TV, I think, than to be there, especially if you're just getting into it. You wouldn't want to be a new wrestling fan and go to a wrestling event because you'd be totally confused.
That's true. Yeah.
Unless you're a kid. I think kids probably don't care that much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably
As
not.
evidenced by that little girl, maybe 3 years old, that was going, AJ Styles.
Yeah.
That's the best part of the night.
Yeah, that was pretty cute.
Speaking of AJ Styles, didn't I hear some comments toward the end of the night that somebody said he looked like Jesus?
That was my wife, Erin.
So that
He
AJ
could
looked like
play Jesus in the Easter play.
He could.
And-
Hey, listen. He's a great Christian man, so he probably would play Jesus in the Easter play.
She told me that's her favorite wrestler.
Well, of that night,
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Well, who's your favorite wrestler overall?
One time Jason asked me if I could be any wrestler, who I would be. And without skipping a beat, I said the one about death.
The
Which would be
Undertaker.
The Undertaker. Yeah.
The Undertaker.
I think he's pretty bad A. I'm not allowed to cuss on here. We're not explicit anymore.
Here's your other guy that looks like Jesus too. If you would have seen him,
Oh, who is that?
that's Seth Rollins.
All right, Seth. Yes, I'm a fan.
Let me find you a picture with his shirt off. That way you can keep looking.
They call
you
him-
know.
They call him CrossFit Jesus.
His nickname is because he's an atheist.
Yeah.
He is an atheist. So there is that. There is that. Okay, so Rusev. I heard a lot of comments throughout the night about Rusev and what did they say? His diaper?
No, let
Yeah,
me tell this
his
story.
diaper.
Okay, tell this story.
So they were chanting for him, and Meredith and I started chanting too because we thought they were saying USA.
Rusev.
And then Stephanie said, I don't want Rusev to win. And I said, which one's Rusev? And she said, the one that has Rusev written on his underwear.
It would be weird if another guy had Rusev's Day written on his underwear and it wasn't Rusev.
That's a good point.
Makes sense.
She brings up a valid
Yeah.
point.
I'm going to start buying underwear with my name on it.
I think that's so you know which ones are yours, right?
Exactly.
So since his gimmick is Rusev Day and they sell T-shirts and calendars and all that, you need a calendar that says Happy Aaron Day.
I would love
And
it.
every day is Rusev Day.
Every day is
Rusev
Aaron Day. You can ask
So
Jason
every
that.
day is now Aaron Day.
Exactly.
talk about those belts.
Okay,
In a marital context.
Okay, so again, I'm going to bring this up because I know this
we
is
got
going to come
Adult
up.
content.
We have to bring this up. So the guy standing beside of us has a championship belt, and as you mentioned earlier, and he's standing up and he's yelling turtle and he's doing this, that, and the other. And nobody knows. So Erin leans over to me in the middle of the show and she says, they want me to ask you guys a question, but it's very inappropriate.
Like the messenger.
So somebody needs to take the lead on this and finish this conversation about what we were talking about.
What? Because I'm the single person. You're going to make me.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we just said I said, y'all need to learn. Yeah, because they had these moves. The girls did and the guys, but especially the girls. When they were wrestling, they were not wrestling. They were just doing these little moves, these little strutting their stuff up on the stage. And so I said, y'all need to take note. Like, I mean, y'all can take note because I can't take note for nobody. But y'all take note for, like, marital content. You know, for the marital things. I said, y'all just watch the women. And then that man raised that belt. And who said that? I don't think
You said that we need to buy the belts for Chris and Jason, that they would enjoy those. If they
said I would enjoy those if Jason wore it in the bedroom.
Yeah. See, she said that comment. What is he talking about?
We asked the question how sometimes women occasionally will have like a wardrobe malfunction on TV. And Meredith and Stephanie and I were curious if the male wrestlers ever have a wardrobe malfunction with their Speedo, because we feel like all it would take is one move of the Speedo to the right or left and things could come out. Yeah.
And we asked y'all, what do you think is under that? Well, like, how does that, what's the secret?
As far as my knowledge, it has never happened for men. Women, it has happened.
Yes.
But most men wear a cup underneath and probably underwear. So, yeah.
Or do they
I wonder if they use that stuff. Do you remember on that movie, Miss Congeniality? You remember on Miss Congeniality how she sprays her with that stuff so that her bikini sticks to her so it won't ride up? I wonder if they have that. Like, I wonder if that's a real thing and if they use it.
I'm sure it is.
I bet the women use it.
I'm sure they do.
Learning something from Miss Congeniality right here.
I'm sure they do.
I don't know.
I'm sure they have all kinds of tricks.
I'd like to say, too, that I really enjoyed the chanting. I think that's my favorite part of the night.
Yes.
I liked the booing.
Yes. Shout out to Sam Roberts, Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast, Boo the Bad Guys. If there was one thing we taught the girls that night, it was to boo the bad guys.
It was very cathartic to boo people. And I really wish I could do that in my daily life. At work, if someone's being rude to me, I could just boo them. At the grocery store, if someone's being rude, I could boo them. It was just very liberating to be able to boo somebody.
When they, like, come out of nowhere, somebody pop up on stage, like, out of nowhere, and we're like, whoa! Like, it was very the surprising factor. Yeah, and then when they come out and, like, all the lights and all that stuff, that was my favorite part because I got to see their outfits.
Yeah, I definitely agree that the entrances are the most exciting part.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Definitely.
That was Shinsuke
Nakamura. Yes.
That guy had the frilly stuff hanging down.
Oh no, the fashion police.
That was a fashion.
Oh my gosh. What was with the fashion police? Like, what is the story? Because we were dying at their, like, leggings.
They, like, come up in birthday parties. Those are the people you hire.
They're very flamboyant.
Okay, so the fashion police is exactly what you think they are. They're the fashion police who know nothing about fashion.
Right.
I thought fashion police are supposed to know about fashion, and they're supposed to go get people that don't know about.
That's the gimmick of their character.
Because they don't
They're supposed to be funny and stupid, kind of.
So the guy,
they were.
So just real quick, the backstory on those two guys. The blonde-headed guy who had the craziness on his boots. He
was dressed like a bird.
Yes.
Yeah, that's him, the lime green.
So he came out with a selfie stick, and he has his phone in there, and whatever's showing on his phone, that was what was on the big screen. So if you looked, it was showing him coming down the aisle on the big screen. That was his thing, is he was very all about himself, basically, kind of thing, right? And then the other guy, his tag team partner, is a trained ballroom dancer.
What?
His gimmick when he came to the company was being a ballroom dancer.
Because the owner, Vince McMahon, loved Dancing with the Stars.
So he had a ballroom dancing character. So that was this guy. And then it only made sense for these two guys to be a tag team and to do this kind of thing. So that's your lesson on the fashion police.
See, and this stuff is where it's like it didn't make sense to us at the time. We were just like, who are these guys that are wearing these crazy costumes But now it makes a little bit more sense.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. Would you have rather us sat down and briefed you on everybody that was going to be there first, or just taken in the experience and then learn about it later?
I think I would have forgotten everything if you'd have told me beforehand.
Okay.
I wouldn't have remembered it.
I think you could have made a PowerPoint presentation. Would have helped me.
Yeah, and I need to know about that Tyson guy, too. Prior to, because if I'd have said something to somebody, sir, to the left of me, I probably would have gotten
Meredith, you asked if Muhammad Ali was going to be there.
Well, I know, but Mike Tyson
Was
wouldn't
it
have been
Kevin
up in
Owens or
that
Sami
thing.
Zayn that she thought was Muhammad Ali?
I don't know.
It was one
I
of the
don't
two.
know
hear
either,
that.
but I just know if I'd asked that man to the left of me, he probably would have knocked me out.
He would have. He would have
You know
laughed.
Mike Tyson.
Good cause.
He would have laughed at you for sure. Okay, so I want to go around to each of you, and we've said a lot of things tonight, both good and bad. Give me before we wrap this up, I want from each of you one negative thing that you haven't said yet, and one positive thing that you take away that you haven't said yet from your experience.
And
Meredith.
I have a question after that.
Okay. Meredith, go.
Is this serious?
Yes. This is dead serious.
A negative thing?
Yes.
I would say I don't think the children should have been exposed to some of those outfits on that stage.
Okay.
My children will never be exposed to that.
Okay.
The positive thing would be that funny thing, we survived the tornado weather and we got out of there because I thought if I die in this arena with these people,
What a way to
this
go.
will be what a way to go. But a positive thing would be the charity. I was very impressed with that. They saved a bunch of dogs or something.
Mm-hmm. So yes. So what Meredith is talking about, Miz and Asuka won Mixed Match Challenge that night, and their charity was some kind of dog charity or something other. Awesome. Great. But I will say one thing about the children and being exposed to all that other stuff. It's way better than it used to be.
Definitely.
From 97 to 2005, you would have been appalled.
Okay.
So for it to be, because WWE is now a publicly traded company and it is more PG and more family friendly, does it still push the line sometimes? Yeah, it does. But they do a lot more positive things as far as kids are concerned, as far as communities, charitable outreach and things like that than they ever have before. So I just look at it as, some of that stuff might be a little too much for some kids at some points.
Well, even the outfits.
Right. Yes, I
Were
agree.
they worse back in the day?
Yes.
Where they're
Yeah,
like
very
bikinis?
worse.
Because what
Yes.
I was thinking is these girls are going to come coming out doing their little.
That's what it
Okay,
was
it
in
was
97,
They
98,
would have
99.
Playboy pillow fights and stuff.
Playboy
that's
pillow
okay.
fights, bikini contests, this, that, and the other. So it's there's way more positive than negative,
Yeah.
especially from then to now. Stephanie, one negative, one positive. I know what your
You
negative is
have
going
to say
be.
positive.
Go ahead.
You have
Go
to say
ahead.
positive.
You,
Are you going to get mad at me for saying
not-
what I'm about to say?
we're going to rebuttal, but I'm not going to get mad. I'm giving you the freedom to say it. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I don't
Okay.
know how to say this in the way that you're not going to get upset. Okay. So you can tell, especially in person, I think, as opposed to watching it on TV. You can definitely tell because you're at weird angles when they are not actually hitting each other and when they're not actually I understand that a lot of it's choreographed. I get that. And I understand that some of the stuff they do, I mean, it takes a lot of athleticism, but what they're kind of portraying is not exactly real. They're not actually hitting each other hard. And I feel like you could really, really tell that being there live, because when you're watching it on TV, they're at the right camera angles to where you can't tell as much. It's like stunt people.
Right.
You get the right camera angle to show the stunt to make it look like it's real.
Absolutely.
And so that was one thing that I thought was definitely negative about being there.
Okay, hang on. We're going to answer that, and then you can have your positive.
Okay.
You got no. Do you have an answer to that? Because I do.
Go for it.
Okay.
I'll add on to yours.
WWE is sports entertainment. The key word being entertainment. Listen, I'm not arguing what you're saying. Because I 100% agree with you. You can tell.
This feels like marriage counseling with Stephanie and Chris.
This has been a
point of contention.
Yes, it has. Since we were dating.
Okay.
The first time I went to visit his parents' house.
True story. She's not
this is a true story. The first time I went to visit his parents' house when we were in college, we just started dating, and he was like showing me around the house, and he opened the door to his bedroom, and I was like, oh no. Because there were wrestling posters. Now, granted, okay, so there were also like Kobe Bryant, and who else did you have? Michael Jordan, maybe? No.
Probably Aerosmith.
Yeah. So he had like bands and like sports people too. But like there was a lot of wrestling posters in his room, and those little wrestling figures, like all lined up. And I was like, oh no. It was almost a deal breaker for me. Now, praise the Lord, I did not let that be a deal breaker.
So
however.
Wrestling is sports entertainment. It is pre-planned. It's pre-planned entertainment. They're not out there to kill each other.
Right.
They're out there to entertain. And do they pull punches? Yes. Do they pull kicks? Absolutely they do.
I just feel like that was, and I know that most people that watch that realize that, but I just feel like it was so much more obvious when you were there in person.
The problem with that is that when you're there in person, there's no way for them to hide it.
Right.
Okay.
And that's where it goes into the wrestlers being good at what they do.
My question for Stephanie is, would you have rather been at a UFC fight where they're legit kicking each other in the head?
Yeah, probably.
That wouldn't bother
Wow.
me to see the
That's not the answer I expected to hear.
I don't know. There's something a bit about authenticity, and I feel like it's not authentic. And I just have a problem with anything that's not authentic. I feel like
that's valid.
And so that's the problem that I have with it.
I guess because I'm so used to wrestling, UFC makes me cringe.
Well, I tried.
I don't know.
Erin, my wife, I tried to have her watch Ronda Rousey way back in the day, and she said, this is too legit. I can't watch females fighting each other, hitting each other.
I don't know, but see, here's the thing. I don't know that I would want to watch that either. Here's another point, is that when I was in high school, I kept stats for the high school wrestling team. Now, that is somewhere in between, right? So it's not like beating each other's face in, but it is legitimate. It is authentic. Mm-hmm. But there are rules to it to keep it under control. Mm-hmm. But what they're doing is real. And so I feel like because I kind of had that background keeping stats for the wrestling team in high school, it kind of made it hard to hear something be called wrestling that is not
that's one of the reasons that Vince McMahon does not like the word wrestling. That's why you hear them use sports entertainment or some form of that.
Right.
Because what's funny about that is a lot of the best amateur wrestlers turn into the best professional wrestlers.
Right.
For example, Kurt Angle, he won an Olympic gold medal with a broken freaking neck. And then he turned
Ronda
into
Rousey, Olympic medalist.
So, and Ronda Rousey, which she hasn't stepped in the ring yet, so I can't give you that.
Right.
Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin, AJ Styles,
Dolph Ziggler,
Chad Gable.
Right.
Well, yeah, because they know a lot of the moves. Because a lot of the moves that they do aren't necessarily wrestling moves, but there is an element of wrestling to it. So it just...
Stephanie, it helps me when I view it as a soap opera with athleticism.
Thank you.
You know?
I love that.
It's
so
true.
I love that.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. There's drama.
But see,
there's
I
story, there's
don't like
comedy.
soap operas either.
She doesn't. She's very anti-drama. She really is. Okay, now you're positive.
Yes.
What was your positive that you took away?
Well, I mean, I already told you that they're very athletic, and I am impressed by their athleticism. And even to pull off some of the things that they have to do to make it look real-ish, that is impressive to me. But also, it is, I mean, like, I don't know. I think, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It is entertainment. And I do understand that. I was a little bored, like I said, because I didn't know what was going on.
Sure.
Correct.
Understandable.
Valid point.
But I did think it was kind of neat to see how into it other people were. I think you said that earlier, Erin. But just like how into it other people were, and like people that made posters and the way that they like got into the chanting and stuff like that. I mean, that was kind of cool.
So, just to piggyback on your athleticism point, AJ Styles, Jesus.
Jesus.
Take a guess. How old is he?
I don't know. 30.
50.
41.
Wow. See, he's very athletic for
41.
For 41.
All right, Erin. Positive and negative.
I'm going to start with the negative. I think that
Perfect.
I didn't like when they had commercial breaks and they would just show a video. I understand it's TV, so you have to have a commercial.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Nashville. We could have brought out some musicians. We could have brought out like a puppy on a scooter or something.
They didn't have a halftime.
Yeah. There was no halftime.
Okay. So at house shows, when they do live events through the week, they
Remember
do
I
have.
told you they do
They
those
like
on the
go to
weekends?
someone's backyard or something.
No, it's called house shows because it's not televised.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they do have an intermission, and
They
they're
do.
all at least 3 hours long. So they have an intermission in between. There were a lot of times that you didn't know they were on commercial break because
They
they
would be wrestling
continued
through it.
wrestling. When the lights did go black and they showed a video, yes, they were on commercial. There are some times that they will do something special during the commercial,
Somebody will come out. You won't know. That
just
it's not
depending on what's going on. Yeah, again, you won't know that it's a commercial because they don't stop anything
But
until
also,
you watch it back.
To a new fan, I could see how that is
Yes,
very weird.
I totally agree with that. I 100% agree.
Well, the first time they stopped it right in the middle of the action, and all of a sudden all the wrestlers just went into like a frozen motion, like it was a church play or something, and they had to make an announcement. You know, it was like, I'm like, what is happening? Why are they just stopping? I was
Right.
into the fight, and then they just stopped. Secondly, negative, you know, I didn't know any of these people. The last time I went, it was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
It's true.
He should be at all of them.
He has a movie career.
He's the highest paid actor.
Oh, yeah.
He's the highest paid
Hey,
actor.
just go see Jurassic Park.
No,
he was-
Jumanji.
Jumanji. Go see Jumanji. He was great in Jumanji.
He was in Jumanji. He's been in the last couple of Fast and Furious movies. He was in Scorpion King. He was in Walk. Okay.
Where was
Go
he
ahead.
at?
He has a movie career. He's the highest paid actor in the world.
If you want to watch him, WWE Network.
WWE
$9.99.
Network, $9.99 a month. Check out The Rock. He was great.
My positive was that I made it through the whole night without seeing any ex-boyfriends.
Oh, all right.
Okay,
Amen
I
to
have
that.
a quick question.
You have a quick
before we wrap
question
up.
before we
I'm
wrap up.
Simple
You're a
question.
great guy,
Go ahead.
ex-boyfriend.
My question to you all is: would you go again?
It's a good question.
Yes or no?
I have to say, well, I guess people are going to listen to this, so I don't want to admit it, but I was entertained. I mean, it was like Vegas. It was shiny, it was sparkly, it was loud, there was music, there were people fighting. You know, my favorite part about hockey is when they fight. So
everybody's favorite part about hockey.
I feel
Great.
like I think if these gals would go, I'd go again. It was fun to be
There
there.
you go. There
I
you
want to
go.
like make a poster and
We'll
I
get you a
had
Randy
fun.
Orton
I did
shirt.
have fun looking for fights too. Remember, Erin? I was like, "Hey, are they having a fight down there?" Yeah. Like outside of what we were looking at.
Silent, we would just yell, "Fight!"
And then I had fun looking at all the people like screaming their guts out, and I was like, "Look at them messing up their vocal cords over all this."
I did that. It was fun.
Yeah, well, I would go again with other people who were as not aware of what was going on as I would. I would feel very uncomfortable if I just went with you, Chris. Because you would know, and that sounds really bad, but because you would know what everything that was going on, and you would be so into it, and I would feel so stupid because I had no clue
I would explain
what was
it all
happening.
to you.
Right, I know.
As long as you wanted me to,
know.
I'd explain it to you.
I don't know. Anyway, I enjoyed. Well, okay, let's just put it this way: I enjoyed going with this group of people.
Good.
I am so
take
glad
that.
I have this recorded that my
Hey,
wife
I
would
did
go
not.
to wrestling
I
again.
did not
You
say.
said you would go again, and it's recorded.
I enjoyed going with this group of people.
But you said you'd go, and that's all I need.
Exactly.
Validation. In all seriousness, thank you guys for going
Yes,
with
thank
us.
you.
We
That's a
really
Thanks for the
appreciate
invite.
it.
I said thanks for the invite.
Oh,
okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, we got a little too
You
excited.
you listeners can't see because you're not viewers, but my husband is over here chewing me out with his eyes because he can't understand what I'm saying.
'Cause you're speaking like this.
I'm trying to have a peaceful voice. I'm very insecure about how people will hear my voice over the. Listen, Meredith would like me to say something. She felt like the fifth wheel, and so the next time that we
listen, it's a good thing that the third man on this podcast is a single guy too. I'll talk to him. All right.
Well, Meredith said that the next time we go, she would like a date to go with her. So all you listeners out there
Perfect.
and all you viewers,
It's time to cut this.
Perfect. Hey, listen. Perfect. We'll get you a date the next time. I know just the guy.
No, I don't trust that.
I know just the guy for you. But listen,
is there an
plenty of single
app
guys at
for
the event
going to a
itself.
wrestling
So-
event
there's
find a date?
plenty. We'll find you one. I
Yeah,
promise.
easily.
Listen, seriously, thank you guys for coming on the podcast. Thank you for going with us.
Thank
We
you for
really
finally letting
appreciate it.
us be on the podcast. I
Once
think this was
again-
pure gold.
Yes, we hear you up here recording the podcast every week and never get to be on it. So thanks for
Well,
letting us on it.
Now you're on the podcast.
So now y'all tell Chris that we need to be back on this thing because we know that we're going to bring them some listeners and they're going to get like a 5-star
Hey.
rating.
Write them some fan mail
Hey,
requesting
listen.
us to come back on.
Yes, Music City Mania Podcast at gmail.com.
I want my own
Right.
wrestling nickname.
Okay, listen. I'll make you guys a deal, and this is recording. The more wrestling that you watch and the more events you go to, the more podcasts you'll be on.
WrestleMania Sunday night.
WrestleMania Sunday night. Check it out.
No.
I'm just saying. Stephanie, Meredith, Erin, again, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
We appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting us.